Are thou switchers, and welcome to my review of Metal Max Xeno Reborn, where within you get to hunt monsters in a blooming tank and collect bounties. What more could you want, eh? So subscribe to the channel for more weekly reviews and sales videos, and like this video to, well, help the channel grow. I'm Kanan, and let's see if hunting monsters in a tank is any fun. I bet it probably is though. Engage. Story-wise, you're dropped into a post-apocalyptic world that's been destroyed and ravaged, and only a handful of people remain. Add to this a variety of mutated monsters roam the lands and need killing. And therefore, in true tradition, it's left down to you to try to search out any more people in this world, preferably ones that are alive. And with that, the gameplay is rather simple, but kind of felt rather complex with the amount of menus that you had to use to do things in the actual gameplay. And as for the movement, it's kind of done in a free roaming type of way, set in kind of like a load of different zones that each need to be loaded in one after the other once you've reached the end of it. But luckily enough, they're actually quite large-ish, so you don't need to load in too many times, although I will come back to that. And I have to admit, movement notches it up a pitch or two when you get your first tank. Ooh, look at this beauty. You'll be driving around like a lunatic, destroying everything in your path, as well as giving you the ability to open up areas you could not before by destroying walls and clearing debris out of the way. And yes, there will be plenty of times for getting out of your tank or vehicle and running around like a lunatic destroying anything in your path, but I only tended to do this when I was forced to. Well, once I'm in the tank, I might as well show it. So, yeah. So, one trigger button forward, another backwards, and basically the thumbstick to turn you around. And of course, if you press a button, you get out quite neatly, all out, and wander around. Look, there's my dog. Hello, are you okay? Yes, it's got a rather big gun on its back. Beware enemies. The game has loads to do in it, and mostly everything can be upgraded, added to, and built upon. And even in the case of vehicles, you can even change their colour. I mean, who doesn't want to go around in a post-apocalyptic world in a pink tank? Your character and team can use armour and weapons and the like to put up stats and do more damage, and take more damage, as in not get injured as much from taking the damage. And adding to all of this, you all get a skill tree to be put up with ability enhancements and abilities for different playstyles. And this kind of brings up the XP that you gain for completing missions, destroying monsters, and even more for destroying the, well, let's just say the boss monsters. These are the elite monsters, the monsters that score you big coinage for killing them and collecting their bounties. And how do you defeat those monsters, I hear you cry? Well, it's all done by turn-based battling. And then I suppose I better show you some combat, eh? Rolling. Right. So that means that they're starting to see you. So I can actually attack from this distance, so I want to pick something. So this is the turn-based attack, and it's all done off speed. So what should I go for? Something with a bit of oomph to it. Aim. Fire. And then if the actual enemy's a bit harder than, well, you thought, everyone will get off the actual, if I can do this for you, everyone will get off the tank, and there you go, and start attacking themselves. Yay. And then, as I said, it'll go in turns. Okay, so he's the next speediest. Boom, bash. Oh dear, that didn't look too good, did it? So let's actually just give it something here, and that will destroy XPs and everything up here, as you can see. And yeah, I think everyone jumps back on, and there's some trash here. I think I've already collected that, but they're you like trash things as well. Collect different bits and armor and all. Do you like my actual tank? It's kind of neat color scheme, isn't it? You can change the color scheme. It's pretty darn cool. I like that. And so with all that in mind, let's get down to basics. The game basically starts out with you convincing a group of survivors to let you in their hold-up, and from there you get to sleep, drink at a bar, and fix, repair and tune up your vehicles, as well as talk to survivors and feed your dog. You heard me right, you get a dog. And I have to admit, it's kind of almost worth it just to see that dog. So cute. Okay, so as far as features go, you've got all your different things here, your map, loads of different places on there, all different sort of information, yeah, like inventory and things like that, your missions, places that you can go and be, and blah, blah, blah. So you can fast track, and then you can pick these and then change your actual weapons depending on what you've actually gained during gameplay or indeed found, and all of this. And then your skill tree here, and then you can assign different things to different things depending on how you actually want to play the game. And obviously you can have some that, you know, repair better, some that heal, like I've got one character that primarily heals and all that lot. So yeah, you can play it to your style of play, and you can, you know, add and change and all that lot. Little dog. And so, after you've come to grips with your new home from home, it's time to find other survivors and a population that supposedly is still out there. Is it? Isn't it? But in order to find them, you will have to go through increasingly harder areas or zones to find said people. On your travels, you will also be on the lookout for parts and scraps to upgrade your vehicles, and also like stuff for your actual main characters as well. To me, once I realised this is all there is to the gameplay, it kind of put me off a little bit. But weirdly enough, hours later, I was still playing it and enjoying it, so yeah, what do I know. Luckily enough though, there is a fast travel option, as the map can be rather large to travel through. Each time you have to go back to your base to do some tinkering or sleep or something, or do something with the missions. And you'll be particularly happy with this fast travel system, and I think that's why they put it in. It's because the actual path you take to get, well, to where you need to go to continue the story is rather linear. And as for actual issues whilst playing the game, I had a few frame rate dips here and there, but as a whole it pretty well runs smoothly. And although the controls turned out to actually be easy to use, they did feel a little light and floaty. The loading is, well, probably my biggest bugbear here. They are too long. I mean, they're not really game-breaking long load times, but it does take you out of the actual game somewhat. And trust me, when you're actually in the middle of doing something and wanting to get to somewhere, you do feel it. Visually, however, it's not the prettiest game out there, but there was little details here and there, like a jukebox that you can play music on in the actual bar area. There's even a day-night cycle, and yes, there is a difference in what's out there between these times. Not a great deal, but there is some. Some of the monsters are pretty cool, ranging from real life like robo creatures to almost skyscraper tall robots, and my favourite, a fucking great sand shark. Audio wise it is voiced but not in English, but still nice to hear voices in the game. It does have some nice music changes within the game depending on what's happening on screen, and the monsters I really felt could have had a bit more weight to them, but all in all it's not a bad effort. The good. Fast travel, thank you very much for that one. Nice monsters, and thankfully plenty of different ones. This style of turn-based combat is actually quite decent. A fracking great sand shark! Plenty to do and upgrade. You get to drive a tank. Woohoo! The bad. Loading is a little long, it's not the prettiest game out there, and it can get a little bit repetitive and kind of grindy at times as well. Although I found it a little daunting to get into Metal Max, all said and done, it's a little less complex than it seems from the start. I have enjoyed and still enjoying my time within this game, and I'll be giving Metal Max Xeno Reborn a 3.5 out of 5. As it may look rather basic and a little more complex than it actually needed to be, but once you get into it, there's a simple, fun game to be had. I felt it was a little on the pricey side as well, otherwise it would have got a slightly higher, maybe a 4 out of 5. But I think if you're into this sort of game, I think you'll probably be happy with this anyway. And as for an alternative on this one, why not first subscribe to the channel for weekly reviews and sales videos, and please like the video, it really does help the channel grow. Alternative, another one by PQube, Dusk Diver. Okay, so these games aren't my forte, but this one does actually look quite interesting to me. But as always, if you've got a better choice or any thoughts on Metal Max Xeno Reborn, then leave them in the comments. And feel free to continue the conversation in the Switchheads community Discord. Because life is better when we switch together.